Well, hello. How's everyone doing today?
Hola,
Hola.
¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, gracias.
Bien, bien, bien.
¿Y
¿Qué
tú?
tal? Así.
Yeah.
Ah, trabajando muy difícil.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm. Ah,
Mhm.
estudiantes.
¿Cómo se dice woo woo woo
Woo,
en
woo,
español?
woo, 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 woo. Okay, that's enough Spanish right now. I can't focus.
How about cómo se dice girl fuck this job en español?
um, Girl, fuck this job. Oh.
Chica. I don't know what fuck is.
Is it puta? No, puta is a
Puta's bitch.
bitch. Yeah. We can start out puta. Oh shit, I forgot what it was too.
Hold
Uh,
on, where's Google? Where's Google Translate? To the Googles. Right. So I'm gonna be like into the text. Hold on. I can do this. Girl, fuck this job. Uh Chica a la mierda. Oh, sorry. It's repeating what okay. Hold on. Let me go back. I mean, this is critical.
I'm listen. We are waiting with bated breath. That's what we're doing right
Chica a la mierda este trabajo.
now.
Chica a la mierda este trabajo.
A la mierda,
A la mierda este trabajo.
chica. A la mierda. Está trabajando. Mm-hmm.
No, trabajando means working. Trabajo is job.
That's right.
Yes. So
Chica.
anyway, girl, fuck this job. So why are you saying girl, fuck this job today?
Listen, at the Black Degree Factory right about now, we are looking for the future Black Degree getters. With that,
Mm-hmm.
and when I tell you that the powers that be are trying to get the future Black Degree getters into our institution, it is annoying the absolute fuck out of me. Um, I am such a, to my detriment and maybe even to my credit, I'm not necessarily the fully planning person, although I understand there's a reason for the planning. But the one thing that I definitely have to my advantage is when shit goes left, I
Mm-hmm.
can I can fix it. That's the space for me. And
Yes.
right now, shit is going left. But because we have so many systems in place,
Mm-hmm.
I feel helpless because I can't jump in and fix it because it's literally a technological systems thing that I can't do anything about. So now you're asking me for shit that I can't give you, and I don't even have the way to give it to you until this technology piece is figured out. And once that's figured out, then I can do my job. But it's
Right.
pissing me off,
Mm-hmm.
and it's being piled on top of all the other shit that I have to do.
Right.
And we, like we all know, old girl done got that done. She done had the Guam Chronicles. We talked about that, and
Yes.
so I am now sitting in that role. And so when someone asks me a question specifically about, well, girl, what's really going on with these things that people are supposed to be answering? Um, which part? Because we have a lot of shit that we're supposed to be doing. So which part are you talking about? Like, I mean,
Right.
you want the front end questions, the back end questions, you want the internal questions, because we have so I'm just a little
A
irritated,
little over it. Yes.
and it's been going on all day,
Mm-hmm.
and it did not end until probably 20 minutes to 5, and it just pissed me off. So it's just been a long day, and so I have already started my celebration probably about 20 minutes before the end of the day. And so now I'm kind of like, I'm floating on, and I'm gonna have to make
Float,
a cocktail.
float on.
I have to end my
Come on.
evening.
Come on,
But
say with me. Float on, float on. Float, float, float on. Come on. Cancer. And my name is Larry. And I love everything. and everybody.
Baby, I can't even remember. All I remember is Cancer. That's all I remember. And something, I'm an Aquarius. Yeah.
My name is Charles because that's my father's name, but my father was not an Aquarius.
And I'm an Aquarius. That's it. That's all I got after
And then
that.
the other one was like Libra, and she said some shit which I can't remember.
Yeah, listen.
So
yeah.
hey, Blue. Hey, Treasure. Hey, Eccentric.
Blue. Oh my God. Listen, let me just say this right now. I'm saying it in advance. Congratulations on that graduation.
Hallelujah.
I don't know if I'm going to be there because if I'm not required, I'm not going in. But that don't mean I love you no less.
Exactly.
So listen, congratulations are in order.
I will be there at 8 o'clock in the morning when this joint starts. Now, how long do these graduations last?
How long are they scheduled, or how long do they actually last? Because listen, you talking about a Mother's Day weekend, they grandbabies and their babies is graduating. Did you not think about that, baby? Listen,
I ain't got to wear like a morning suit. I can just have like a collared shirt and some slacks.
You will be outside on the yard.
You know, I've never really been on Howard's campus. Whenever I've gone to Howard, I've gone directly to where I needed to go, which was usually the engineering building, and then dipped. So I've never even been. I mean, I'm sure it'll be hard to miss if it's on the yard. So I mean, it'll be like in the middle, but
right there in the middle, and you'll be the yard is directly in front of the building. It's directly in front of the administration building, which is where a lot of the offices are. Mine in particular, but when you go into the yard, it'll be all made up and looked all nice and purdy and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
They have the tents out and all that good stuff, and seating. So if it's overcast, they'll have the tents up. If not, they probably won't have the tents up. But
all right, well, I will make sure that both of my sets of earbuds are fully charged.
And wear some comfortable walking shoes because you're gonna have to. You have to walk up the hill to get there because I don't know where you're going to park at because baby, it's not going to be up on that campus. So
no, I already know that. I probably would Uber.
Yeah, and from wherever they drop you off at, it's going to be a nice little walk. So I'm just
yeah, that'll be fine.
Yeah. So, but
you take a metro, but yeah, I'm not taking a metro, so that's out.
Yeah. Well, you will definitely be walking. So I say all that again in advance. Blue, congratulations, baby. And listen, yeah, congratulations. That's what I got. Yes. But 3 or 4 hours.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
Well, how about this? When is your department scheduled?
Because there's not necessarily an order, but when they start calling all the different schools, that's one thing. But if they're calling the departments within the schools, baby, that's going to make it a longer ceremony.
Well, girl, all right. So I will, because I said I'm going to go. I'm going to be there.
And I didn't say
4 hours. I'm just going to tell you now. The moment they call your name, I'll be like, I know him. Yay! Yay! I'm out. That's the moment that Blue steps off of the stage. I'm out.
Right. Well, listen, it'll be fun, and I know. Hopefully, Blue, you will have other family as well there, and other loved ones is there as well, because that is a moment. Although I did it in undergraduate, and it was such a very large graduation ceremony. It wasn't as personal as I would have liked it to have been. Because I was graduating out of a doggone like the civic arena, and it was like huge. Although I could find my mother found me, but still, it's just kind of you like to be able to walk across that stage and see your family and friends.
And don't they do the graduate to school? Like they don't do like all of the graduates and undergraduates from a school. They usually do like the graduate degrees first, right?
They usually so if it's a ceremony where they're doing the undergrad, usually the graduate ceremony is usually a little bit. Well, actually, no, I take that back. Howard's graduation in particular, I don't think I've ever sat through one of those. But my graduation, they did all of the schools and they did all the schools, and they just had all those schools stand up, and as a school, they put their degrees over. The graduate part, I think, was held right before they got to the undergraduate, and they had them to parade across the stage because it was a lot fewer of them.
Wait a minute. Blue, are you gonna be there Thursday for the graduate school hooding? Because I could go to that and then dip out on the rest of this. Because I mean, I can do that.
Right. The hooding is just, you clearly they give you but it's not, you're not getting your actual degree. You're actually getting your degree at that actual ceremony.
Oh, at FAMU, they just give you a blank sheet of blank sheet of paper because they still haven't completed the degree audit by the time graduation.
Listen,
happens.
don't get me started on that. And listen, let me tell you right now, Blue, if you owe one dime.
He said they said they'd already taken care of that.
Okay, listen. All I'm telling you is, if you listen, baby, don't come. This is one of the reasons why I don't want to be there and have to be there, because it's going to be some very hurt faces on that day, and I just don't want to be there, because then
because at FAMU, as long as you pay, or at least this is how it was 30 years ago, you pay your fee, they'll let you walk across that stage with your cap and gown, but then if you ain't got all your shit together, you will find out that summer. I mean, and how do I know this? Because I knew when I walked across that stage that I still had shit to do. I was like, girl, let's just do this because my parents have been waiting for all of this. And I did this, and I knew that I was not graduating from FAMU. And at that point, I had decided that I was not going to graduate from FAMU. Well, I was just like, well, girl, we're just going to do this ceremony because my parents want to see this fucking ceremony. So here you go. Here go your little cap and gown. I think I still have the cap and the empty green and gold book and everything. And that was it. So that was that.
I know University of Pittsburgh was very much like, if your name is not printed in the manual or in the program, you did not graduate. And baby, when you heard the whole stadium, it was like everybody was looking. And sure enough, Mary Alice was right at the top. She was like,
you ain't want to have to get your ass beat in front of all
listen, because she was gonna come tumbling right down them steps, like. So no, it was all good. And so even though I still had enough that summer to finish, but I was done. I was like, all right, that's what we're doing. I'm done.
Yeah. I don't know if they've changed it, but at FAMU, you could definitely walk across that stage. I mean, obviously, you couldn't be like a freshman and be like, yeah, I'm gonna walk across the stage, but because their process was just so fucked up and unorganized that there were lots of people who thought that they had graduated, but they don't. This was the mid 90s, so it was like, all of their computer processors wasn't together, because like now you can just be like, you're supposed to have 120 degree hours, you got 112, so clearly you aren't finished.
Well, listen, I was reading all the notes in here, talking about double, triple check.
Yeah, because some people like to surprise folk. Exactly. And I don't need Blues Mama trying to beat nobody ass.
And listen, and see, that's the thing. People will come in, they will march right up into the area that I work in, and they will be hot. Like, and listen, I don't need you to be hot like fish grease, and then I'm hot, then I'm cold as ice water. Then we got to really start tussling.
Well, you're not in charge of academics. You're in charge of the money. You don't even have nothing to do with none of that.
But the problem is, if that baby finds out that they owe some money, they're gonna snatch that degree and not gonna give it to them.
Oh yeah. There are lots. So that's a whole separate group of people. So the graduation audit is in two parts. The first part of the graduation audit is, did you complete all the requirements? The second part is, do you owe the school any money?
Right, and that part, even for the Black Degree Factor, is not my specific area, but the area that's in between us. Right. But they come to us because they assume something's wrong with it. And it's like, well, no, baby, we didn't put any charges on anything, baby. Nothing.
So the stunt used to be that FAMU grew very quickly in the 90s. So all of their facilities were not up to the task of all of the people that went there. So even when I started in 1989, they didn't have enough room. They barely had enough room for all of the freshmen to live on campus. So because that was the rule that as a freshman you had to live on campus unless you live X number of miles within X number of miles, then you could say, no, I'm just going to live at home. They had so many freshmen in 1989 that they had to expand that radius to keep more people. And then, so like all of these, oh, and also you weren't supposed to have cars on campus and stuff, but they had freshmen weren't supposed to have cars. But they had so many people on campus and not enough parking spaces. So the stunt was you would get a because remember, this is the early 90s. So all of the databases and shit weren't together. So they could print you out a ticket, but then they would you could just take that ticket and just keep it on the fucking dashboard because the FAMU police was lazy as hell. So they didn't actually look at the ticket. They would just see that it was a ticket already on the car. Till they got smart, like 2 years into that, and then it was like, so you would come back and be like, there'd be like 3 or 4 tickets on your car. So my point is, yes, because girl, the tickets is a ticket on top of it. You got a ticket from like 9 months ago on this dash. They're like, no, bitch, you illegally parked today. So you about to get another ticket on top of that. And then so now it piles up. And then so where I'm going with this is you got graduation. You're like, okay, girl, I've paid all of my tuition. I have completed all the requirements. And then they're like,
that's exactly what we got going on.
Mr. Jones, you owe the FAMU Police Department $2,000 for tickets going back to 1987. They're like, mother.
So, yeah, that's the part where they get it all confused. So, yeah, I'm kind of glad I won't be there.
Treasurer said, I'm just here to report on who gets escorted away from the scene.
Listen, it's always a happy and joyous time, but especially and in fact, now that I think about it, this Friday is the last day of actual classes, if I remember correctly. This Friday coming, because then we go into finals week and then we have so yeah, it's this Friday. So listen, them babies is gonna be in our office every day, all day, and Jesus. Now that I think about it, I was supposed to be. I'm working remotely. God damn it! I got to be in the office that damn week. Okay, all right, okay, I'm gonna let that go. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of people, and I feel it already. I see it. So, but you know, we're gonna work with it. But again, like I was saying, congratulations. And so that's what I want to say. Good evening to everyone. I see people still stepping into the room. Hey, Spiller Boy. Hey, Bougie. Hey, Eccentric. Hey, Des. I saw you in there. So I just want to make sure I say hello there. And I can't tell who else is in here, but hey, everybody. But yeah. Anyway. So how was your week? Because my day was an indication of how my week has been. But how was your week? Is that what we're doing? We're gonna take this deep thoughts with Dominion Onyx.
So last week was not good. I was ready to quit for 3 full days.
Oh shit!
Because as I've just gotten older and more in touch with my feelings and what I want to put up with and what I don't want to put up with. I work with a lot of Negroes and I work with a lot of women. And the Negroes can be crazy, and I'm not saying women are more crazy than men, but I'm saying women are a little bit more crazy in the workplace than men. That's what I'm saying. These views do not represent the views of the BGKH show.
I was like, oh God. I was like, okay, bitch, I got to stamp. I was like, okay, it's my name on the show too.
So here's what happened. There's a woman at work who is like my mentor, but she's also a little hood. She told me about this one time where she and my boss, well, she got invited to my boss's house, and she almost got in a fight with her the, my boss's husband's sister. She almost got in a fight because my boss's husband's sister's boyfriend or husband was apparently making eyes at her. And like, not just women, but like some people do, instead of confronting the spouse, they want to confront her. And, my mentor was like, well, bitch, we can get down.
And a girl.
And so on one hand, I'm cool. I mean, I'm fine with that. But I was like, y'all was about to fight? She was like, I was about to whoop her ass at her house. And so all of that is context. So a couple of weeks ago, this person who was my mentor, and we talk about everything, online stuff, like work stuff and offline stuff. Asked me to help. She was like, hey, a buddy of mine needs, like he needs like mentoring at the job or whatever. So I was like, sure, friend of yours is a friend of mine, we all got to stick together. So all of that. Well, he fucked up on the job big time. And I'm telling her about all of the ways that this dude fucked up. Cut to a couple of weeks later.
Why is your camera shaking so damn much?
Because it's on my table and I keep touching it.
So I was like, you realize I'm a little
scooched, and you're a little full. So let me scooch back.
Okay. I was like,
let me scooch it back so I'm not touching the table. So right. So let me scooch back, but then I can pull the camera forward. So see, there we go. All right.
Okay.
So then now I'm not touching it.
Okay.
So cut to earlier last week. My boss says, well, so-and-so, meaning the dude that fucked up, is so-and-so, meaning my mentor's husband. So I'm like, oh shit, now listen, if I gotta fight I'm not trying to fight nobody at the job. We already know this woman says she liked to fight. She is admitted. I mean, I'm not trying to paint the wrong picture of her. She's not like, it's not like
she like to fight just like I do. So what? I mean,
it's not like what's up. It's not quite like that. But also, I had always felt like even though we was like close and we was like kikiing and cutting up, I always was like, I still need to like maintain. I never felt like I could like fully let my guard down because I was like, I just met these people like a year and a half ago. So, and I've only really tried to start kikiing it with them since October, since I became permanent. So, okay. So I went to her because, again, even though me and my boss are cool, I don't know because, I've already seen instances where everybody like to gossip and talk and get all involved. And I ain't about none of that. I'm here to do a good job, a damn good job, get paid, and then, move on up in the ranks and leave these people behind in the dust. That's what I'm trying to do. So, I'm not trying to get too involved in people's social lives or whatever. But I was like, oh shit, is what she told me the truth? I mean, not that she would lie, but I'm like, is this something that she heard? Or is this the truth? So I went to the person who was like my unofficial mentor. She's not been assigned as my official mentor, but I was like, so somebody told me, and I will not say who it is, told me that so-and-so is your husband. And at first she was like, who told you that? I was like, that don't matter. That don't matter.
Right. Girl, answer the question, girl.
And then she was like, oh, so-and-so told you. I was like, I'm neither confirming nor denying. So then she went back and talked to my boss about that. Then my boss comes to me, and here I am. Because, when we have our one-on-ones, I'm like, bitch, here's all of the shit that I have done this week because I want my full bonus. I want a performance bonus. I want a merit bonus just on the shit that I have done and produced since January. And she was like, yeah, this was a rough week. When I tell you stuff, it's supposed to be in confidence and stuff. And I was like, I didn't know any of this was supposed to be in confidence because so I'm pissed off at both of them about this because if you had said to me, this is who I work with, and for a reason, they don't work in the same department or nothing, so that's not even like that. But if you come to me and say my buddy needs help
You just
versus
something that's not a connection.
my boyfriend or my wife or my husband, is work. I don't know that I would have necessarily said anything different, but that the way that whole thing went down was he fucked up so bad that I told his big boss. Like they got in all of them, like him, his boss, him, his boss, her boss, their boss, and the boss on top of that all got in trouble and got called in front of the president, not the president, but the vice president of our group for how badly they fucked up.
Wow.
And that's my job because, first of all, they're making me look bad because I'm the one that's got to go and be like, oh, we need another week because these niggas been working on the wrong shit for like the month. This is the same dude. Remember, he been working on this wrong project
Yes.
for like
Yes.
a month.
Yes.
This is that dude.
Well, wait a minute, but a quick update. They got that finished because it was due. It was already
bitch, I was like, I don't give a fuck what y'all got to do. The shit was due on Tuesday. The shit is still due on Tuesday. I don't give a fuck how many resources you got to apply to it. You better get this done and don't be giving me no bullshit invoice for all of these hours because all of that time we already paid you for, you were supposed to be working on this project. So you already got paid for all
this
of that.
Tuesday that is due. Okay.
No, right. This was a couple of weeks ago now, but the conversation.
Right, but it was due. Like everything was due, everything turned in. That
was due on like April 11th. That was all done. Right.
Okay.
The conversation happened last week. Right. So anyway, so I was pissed off at her because I'm like, if you had told me this was your, not just some like random dude, like she made it sound like
it was no connection.
Some black dude who also was there. She recognized that, he black, we trying to stick together with one another. So help him out. I didn't, but like if you had told me that was your husband, I'd have been like, dude, your husband fucked up big time before I'd have said something. And then so like, I'm like, so can I say, you can't be my mentor if I can't trust it. I can tell you shit in confidence, or because I feel like now y'all trying to get me involved in y'all political fucked up games, which I am not trying to get involved in at all. Because what is my goal? My goal is to work hard, make a lot of money, and move on up out of here and on to, I'm a senior program manager. I'm trying to get to a director, then senior director, then vice president. And you got to play some politics, but I'll play the politics of the job. I will not play this interpersonal, back and forth kind of bullshit. So I'm like, can I really trust her? Because I feel like that was a big thing for you to leave out. And she said, yeah, I don't want everybody in my business. But if you don't want everybody in the business, you shouldn't have asked me to mentor this person.
You should have also given you the skinny to say, this is who this is, by the way. That would have been
and say, listen, I don't need a whole lot of people to know, because I understand that she don't want people to know this. But if you're going to ask me to be your husband's mentor, at least say, this is my husband. I can't get involved because we're not in the same group. They got to fill out like financial disclosures. They got to declare that. So it's declared to Amtrak, but that don't mean all 20,000 people in the organization know that.
Right. But have you gotten the chance to go back and say that to her? Like say, hey, going forward, or is it a done deal and you have nothing else?
We're still cool. I'll still go to her for some stuff, but I'm just going to keep my own counsel, but we're going to get to that in a minute. And so so my boss is like, instead of us having that conversation about that, she was like, when I tell you stuff, it's in confidence. And, I got to know that, I can trust you and all this other stuff. And I was like, wait a minute. I do my job plus parts of your job, plus parts of like 3 or 4 other people. And you told me something that you didn't say. Ain't nobody supposed to know this because apparently I'm only the 4th person at the job. So, HR knows. His boss, the husband's boss knows. Our boss knows. And so I'm like the 5th person in all of the company that knows this, but ain't nobody told me. Obviously, I was just going to be like, yeah, that's so-and-so's husband. But I didn't think it was a problem to go back and confirm with them, because then anytime something like that happens, I'ma like give you the heads up. Just like, listen, something's up with your husband. You might want to tell him to get his shit together, before whatever. And so I was just real pissed off behind that whole interaction. And it was leaving like a real, real nasty taste in my mouth. But then I was like, because remember we had a conversation a couple of weeks ago about trauma responses.
Yeah.
And my trauma response is to dip on personal and professional relationships. When people start acting crazy, and they might not even be acting crazy, but if I perceive it as them acting crazy, I'm like, girl, I don't need this shit. I'm like, girl, fuck this job. I don't need this. I can find a job anywhere else. I don't need none of this. So like all weekend long, I was ready to dip.
Okay.
And I thought I was over it. But then Monday came and I saw my boss and I was like, girl, fuck this job. And I was really ready to dip. But then on Tuesday, yesterday and today, we had new employee orientation. And there was a guy there who talked about his career progression at I'm gonna call it the choo choo, as Tyra has, as Bougie Girl has. So he's been at the choo choo for 26 years, and he talked about all of the different things that he had done. And listen, if that man is not homosexual, then my gaydar is. I need to go see somebody, because
okay, all right.
she's a lady, and no shade, but
a lady. Whoa,
whoa! She's a lady, but they're really nice, really nice.
Oh, sorry.
Right. So during a break, and he also is like a director in HR. So I was like, listen, I need to talk to you. And I was like, I just want to be clear. This is not an HR problem, because no one did anything. I don't feel like I need to file a claim. But I was like, I'm coming from outside of this government thing. I've always been a contractor. I don't get involved in, I don't go out with coworkers afterwards or get involved in their personal life or whatever. So, but if I'm going to commit to this, then I'm going to need to be able to talk to somebody that I feel like I can trust. And that person obviously needs to be outside of the organization that I'm in, because then anything that I say to you isn't going to get back to anybody else, because you don't work with none of those people. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so he understood that, but he also said, well, you know what, based on some of the stuff that you said, and I feel like he'd already, I don't know, whatever reason he was checking me out, but he was like, I think you would be great for this new job on this new team for this vice president. So what I need you to do is put your resume together, send it to me. I'm going to sit down with you and review it, and then we're going to get you on this other team. So I was like, bet. Because that's almost exactly what happened to him. He was in an area. He didn't say like he didn't like it, but he was like, it's not his passion. And IT is not my passion. Bitch, I'm a good bitch. I can work any job and make it look like I've been doing it my whole fucking life. But it's not my passion. And like the same with him. And like, listen, not only is he this, but he this.
He's this and this, honey.
Exactly. He's this. So I felt like he was trying to look out for me in the same way that I would look out for this. So I was like, listen, I will do that. And so, yeah, but I was real fucked. When I tell you, I was like, if the right offer had come along, I would have put in my 2 weeks notice on Monday. Like if someone had hit me up and the right shit had come along, but then I was like, first of all, it's a rash decision. They ain't say nothing like real fucked up, like actionable. What it just means is that I need to remove myself and remember what my goal is here. My goal, look, I feel like it's like what's the show? Like any of the reality shows, like I'm not here to make friends.
Yeah.
So since I'm not here to make friends, that doesn't mean I'm not here to be unfriendly, but cool. So I know that we can kiki and we can cut up, but we still got to keep it cute.
Right.
And that was what was happening, was that I was allowing too much of my guard down with them. And for whatever reason, And they're the cool people. I mean, so you ain't got to drag nobody, Atlas. I appreciate it, baby, but I'm good. So, now I got, my friend. So we'll see what comes of that. So I might
Well,
be on
yeah,
a new team
you
soon.
still want to see what that's going to bring. Because listen, you want to make sure you check all the boxes. You want to check this and this. You want to make sure you check all the boxes.
Right. And I'm not trying to leave with no ugliness, but if I could find something else and listen, just exploring opportunities, because even though you're staying within the choo-choo, the way you get better opportunities and make more money and other things is to move around. And so I already knew that I was not going to stay in IT. I had already been like, okay, I've been there for years as a contractor. I'm gonna give it 2 years as an employee, and then by the end of that third year, we was gonna seriously start looking for a new position within the agency. But if that happens now, and basically he's going to present my resume to the VP, so this isn't going to be like, oh, I got to apply for this foolish girl. No, he's creating a new team. So here we go. Last thing I will say about that is that I found out that one of the new guys that was a new employee orientation, his name was Train Daddy. And so I was like, I thought you was married to a woman. He is. And the reason he said, because we were out in the station and somebody, this little short, cute, brown skinned, skinny thing who was definitely one of the girls, was like, hey, Train Daddy. And I was like, wait a minute.
She was like, hold on, man, let me stick my finger in your booty. Come on, let me see.
Right. And then no, not this, not maybe I would have said it to the dude, not to this older white guy, but he was British too. And he was like, that's what they called me in New York. And then we looked him up in the New York Times. No, this dude used to be the head of the subway system in New York. And that's what they all called him, was Train Daddy. Wow. So it was like big news in New York when Train Daddy left the New York subway system to come to the choo-choo.
Wow. Okay. All right.
So that's why people knew him. But when he was like, hey, Train Daddy, I was like, bitch, what? Not that I was trying to get with Train Daddy. I just was like, there's a story.
Like, oh, hey, Train Daddy. Hey, Train Daddy, what's going on?
Right, but it was not the story. And that guy's really nice. But then one part of me was like, ooh, because basically if you go from being the head of the entire New York City subway system to come to work at the choo-choo, it's like, girl, you are making. I was like, ooh, she got money.
Yeah, that's a nice, probably like $300,000 or $400,000.
Yeah, girl, that's at least double what I'm making.
Yeah, that's like that's yeah. And I don't even know what that type of check looked like. I'll be like, bitch, what the fuck? But then again, we also don't, that motherfucker's day is, he's working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Exactly.
You're earning all your motherfucking coinages.
Right. So anyway, so that was that. So I actually do feel much better after having that conversation, even before he offered to potentially, sort of help me out. He was like cool with being like my mentor or somebody I could talk to outside of the organization. And I was like, professional development, because he's been there for 26 years. So he knows how to sort of navigate stuff. So I was like, yeah, so that'll be cool. So that was my week at work.
Listen, these weeks have been weaking for a lot of people.
Yes. So I have some fun and interesting things for us to watch.
Bring it on.
All right. So first up.
I would love to sit here.
Oh, wait a minute. Is it playing?
It was. Yes.
Okay. I had stopped it. Okay. Got it. What's going on now? Oh, so wait a minute. Hold on. I'm not plugged in. So I'm going to stop my camera so that y'all don't see me struggle to get up off of this sofa.
You're a clown. Clown.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, bougie, come up with this. Hey, Professor Ogilvy. Oh. Atlas, I didn't get to say hey. Hey, love.
All right, so I'm plugged in. And let me turn on this fan because this has got a warm in here. This house, This house and its heat and ventilation is so fucking dyslexic.
But listen, all I know is it's at that weird time of the year where it's it's getting warm outside, but it's getting cold on the inside. So the inside of your house feels colder than it does outside. And
Exactly.
I've been struggling with that all week. And so I always keep a blanket on my couch because that's what I do. I fall asleep on it and cover up. I need something to wrap up with. But baby, that blanket has been used because I was like, this is kind of cold. It's kind of chilly up in this joint.
All right. So first video.
I would love to sit here and chit chat with you. I gotta go. Oh, Tyrus, did you just fall? Oh.
So we got to watch that one more time.
Wait a minute. Let me back up because I want to make sure I understood exactly what I just.
All right, so pay attention.
Before I watch again, that was a man who did a round the world kick, almost like he was breakdancing, broke wind, and then got up and walked away like he was just fierce.
Right. So we got to.
I would love to sit here and chit chat with you. I gotta go. Oh, Tyrus, did you just fall? Oh.
But did you see? I mean, he did not fart. He had it in her hand, right?
I didn't see anything in her hand. I was like,
hold on. All right, so let me fast forward it a little bit. She's got a whoopee cushion in her hand.
Okay. All right.
It's still hilarious because I watched it even though I knew she had a whoopee cushion, I did not realize it at first. So I watched it 5 times before I realized she fucking had a whoopee cushion. Okay. And then even after I realized that, I watched it again and again and again because it was so fucking funny to me.
Okay. All right.
You're like, okay, girl. Well, maybe not. All right. So can you see this video now? Hold on.
I can. Hey, Parker.
Okay, good. All right. So listen closely.
East St. Louis ass shit. Get your cockamamie ass off of that new ass face, bitch. You ain't gonna do nothing. I'm definitely not gonna know East St. Louis. Get out. Bitch. Cock-out ass house. You sat up there for 30 minutes cutting up for nothing. You should have got your ass off this plane when you was hauling by the seat. Smelling like a river rat. Look, get your new slice having ass out there for your wig slip off. It ain't. And then lashes too. What you got them glued on with Elmer's glue? You should have glued the lashes on you a wig. Record that cockeyed ass out. Y'all piss me off. My dog dead. I gotta get home. Fuck your mama, bitch. You so damn skinny having ass. Get some proactive when you get out. Motherfucker, they got it in the bed of my shit. That bitch about to have a medical emergency. Don't get her ass up out there to see out there. They know for a real bitch. You better ask you from East St. Louis or Granny City with your cockeyed ass. You have it over your mouth. I definitely do, and it's real, boo boo. And I got an American Express in my pocket. Bitch, I got an American Express in my pocket. Get her off of her. You see that raccoon out on the toilet?
Did she say get that raccoon?
Yes.
But wait, he said her glue is held on by her wig is held on by Elmer's glue?
Yes. And he said she had bad skin. Get your proactive needing ass up off of this plane.
Baby, let me tell you something about the hood. Let me tell you something about every motherfucker in the hood. And as they get older, they'll have no coup. Because, baby, he was giving somebody's grandmother, when I say she was letting her have it.
Exactly, Bougie Girl. Les Blocks.
Les Blocks. Letting her have it.
Baby, she got all the way in that ass. They lit her ass all the way up.
Wait, fucking, And then Spielberg talking about some jitney in the sky.
It really is that. So here's the third one. So let me share this tab instead. Go full screen. Make sure y'all can see this one. All right.
Started as role play. My man is Baptist and quiet in bed, so I whispered, "Am I your dirty little itch? Say it, F me like you hate me." That excited him. Now the name calling in bed has gone too far. Him. You just want a new daddy for those roach kids, don't you? I hate roaches. And why don't you pay your bills, you raggedy itch? And the most hurtful, new wig, but no future. The bang bang is better, but the insults aren't sexy. And I think he may and I think he means it, right? Well, sis. But ain't that what you wanted, sis? You said you wanted your man to talk dirty. And now he talking filthy to your ass. But is the dirty talk true? Do you got roaches getting sturdy in the kitchen? Are you not paying your bills?
See, that's what happened when, listen, the kids want to get talked dirty too. Then they start to get a little bit too close to home. And then you're like, wait a minute. Like, yeah, suck this dick, you fat bitch. You're like, well, wait a minute now.
Wait. I was stuck on. New wig, no future.
Yes. All right, so we got two more. Here is the next one. Oh, the edible's starting to kick in. All right, come on back. We got two more.
Okay, I'm coming. Oh, bitch. New wig, no future. Oh, God. Oh.
All right. So there's no sound to this video, but you got to watch. And then I will explain what's happening later.
Is that supposed to make that bigger? Bitch, you know, what? Oh, I heard about this.
So, for those of you all who don't understand what happened here,
I heard about this.
That man just robbed a bank with a brick. A motherfucking brick. And here I am like, well, not that I've really given a lot of thought to robbing a bank, but I was like, well, I would need a gun and like
and Boogie's like,
if you
get 500
like, that is a low effort robbery because this dude is at large. They do not know who this dude is. What the fuck are you going to do? How are you going to? First of all, yes, he did not wear gloves, but they don't sanitize that counter. So millions of people have touched that fucking counter. And he robbed. I do not think y'all understand. He robbed this bank by putting down a brick and demanding money. Bitch, if this is how the game is played, bitch, our whole life is about to change. Because look, watch this. Watch this. Well, you see this? Hold on, let me push the table back.
Oh.
Give me $10,000. No, give me $10,000. Bitch, if you can rob a bank, exactly. What in the low vibrational petty crime is this? Baby, if you can rob a bank with a brick.
But wait, what did she give him $1? What did she put in his hand? What is that?
No, when he sat there, that's the money. He is writing down how much he wants. She gave him the money and he dipped out.
Where is she giving him the money at?
I think that part of the video got cut out.
Oh, because I was like, what am I missing? I was like, what the fuck?
That's him handing the person a note, and then it cuts to them leaving. So okay. He robbed the bank with a brick.
And I heard about this, but I was just like, what? I was like, you hear just a whole bunch of
our whole fucking life is about to change, because if you can rob a bank with a brick,
baby.
Can you just imagine? Now, I understand and I don't understand, because the bank policy is that you don't argue with someone that says they want to rob the bank. You're not supposed, no matter how much they want, you're supposed to give them whatever they do, whatever they want. But I feel like
fucking Spiller boy, I'm gonna pick her up at 4:15.
Exactly that. Exactly that. Exactly that. There's some collusion, because I'm like this. I mean, and so there's a couple of things. One, you don't know, you as the teller in real time don't know what else he got besides this brick.
That is absolutely true. And listen, there was she went behind no glass. She's at a desk. Right. I'm not gonna play with you. This ain't even my money. I'm not gonna play with you about this. You go.
And I mean, if you decide to duck or run away, I mean, if somebody hits you in the back of the head with that brick, I mean, you might not die the way you would if you got shot in the head with the back of with a bullet. But I'm still saying it's not gonna feel good to get hit in the back of the head with a brick.
Oh my God!
So, because part of me is like, I'd have just been like, niggas, you trying to rob this bank with a brick? I'd have just been like, baby, you don't need this. Just, honey, whatever's going on, just leave. I'm gonna just pretend like this never happened, honey. I'm just gonna pretend like this never happened. They don't have also say, baby, they don't have an audio recording of this.
I can't with both of them. Fucking Boosie, that ninja went to the carryout for the white black for the whole block with extra mumble sauce and salt, pepper, ketchup on the fly.
Exactly, but I'm saying I would have just been like, because like an older black woman is like, baby, you don't need to do this, baby.
Sure.
Just take this prick and just go home now. Just go on.
Just go on.
Just let it go. We just, you can just, nobody has to know that it was you. Just go on. Because it's gonna be some other dude that's gonna try to rob a bank with a brick, but now they're gonna be wise to the game.
Baby. Baby.
Right. Spiller boy said that hoe been hit with a brick on the playground before. Exactly. And so here's the last one.
Baby.
I will say, I'm very happy to confirm that there is indeed more Noah's Ark coming. It is coming this year. That's right, you heard it here first at the I Am Awards. Breaking news, Noah's Ark is coming back.
So that's great news.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, theoretically.
So
that little special that they had, I was like, ooh, I see everybody hasn't taken acting lessons in the past 12 years. Okay, so God bless.
Well, so that's been one of those things where it's kind of a bittersweet type of situation. Like, we were all waiting and waiting and waiting for Noah's Ark to come back. And then when we got that one little teaser, I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, wow, we really missed this. We missed the whole series. We got the movie afterwards. It was kind of wrapped up nicer and neater, not necessarily in a bow, but something bow-esque resemblance. And so we kind of got an idea of what was going to go on or what has happened up until that particular point. But then the pandemic version came out, and I was kind of like, it lost something for me. I don't know. It was
that's what you always run into, I think, with these shows that have, such fun whatever. It's always hard to build back on that. Even shows that people love, like, for some reason, Bewitched comes to mind. Like when everyone was like, wouldn't it be cute to see what happened to Tabitha? And that show was horrible.
Listen, I remember it, but I didn't even watch it because I wasn't even. I was a fan of the show when it came on the reruns, but I was like, I'm not that interested in Tabitha. I don't give a fuck about it.
And I wanted to see what had happened, but I was like, this show is horrible. And I see that in rerun, because I didn't watch it. I don't remember it too much in real time. Although obviously I saw it at the time, but like rarely does a show come back and pick up that same magic. Will and Grace tried to, and I think Will and Grace came the closest because they still had some cute episodes.
There were some cute episodes, but it had lost a whole lot.
Yeah.
Whole lot. So,
because I think if too much time passes, the audience, because if a show comes back after like a long time, like 10 or more years, the people who used to like that show are 10 years older. So generally what was funny to you 10 years ago might not be funny. You might have been some single carefree person. Now 10 years into it, you got little kids and shit and you're not into it, or just your sense of humor has changed. Because like some of the stuff, like if you go back and watch some of the Will and Grace stuff, some of that stuff they used to say it's kind of homophobic. It was kind of transphobic. Some of it was, just like in questionable taste. I mean, Jack and Karen was still funny. And then just some of the situations, because I'd have kicked Grace's ass out long ago. Like the person that I am now, I would not have put up with all of Grace's shenanigans. I just really would not have. Like that time when, Will was about to change his whole fucking life because Grace wanted to have a baby. But then the moment Grace found a man, like so many, and I'm not saying this of all women, but like a lot of women who have the gay best friend, they're like your Judy until they get married or until they get a boyfriend or have a child, and then they dump you like an old sack of potatoes.
I'm still stuck on the Will and Grace part myself, so I'm sorry.
Yes, bitch, I would have dumped Grace. I'd have been like, bitch, you need to get out my house.
Listen, that was my show, and maybe if I literally sat and thought about the relationship, but then again, I don't have to think about the relationship because I have my own Grace, and you all have heard her, and so we've had moments like that, and I was done with Grace, on some old real goofy shit as well. Like it was just. Like me, but then you don't know me. It's kind of it's like, But I got to look at Will and Grace differently because that was a show for me. That was a vibe for me. That was the time for me. And so while I heard what you're saying in my mind, I'm like, oh, not Grace.
It was a vibe for me at the time. I'm saying going back and looking at it again and some of the plot lines. Like, Jack and Karen were really just sort of comic relief. So, and then, that and Beverly Leslie and all of that was just hilarious. But the serious storylines were always not Jack, but Will and Grace. And I'd have been like, some of the shit that, they went through. And Will was a mess too. So I'm not just saying Grace was a mess, but yeah. So anyway, so that's what I'm saying. So when it comes back, it's not always the same. So I'm going to watch it, of course, because look,
right.
Exactly. So I'm a watch and I'm a support, but we'll see. Exactly, Robert. Parker. Grace was the worst. And she didn't seem like the worst at the time because I was significantly
invested
20 years ago at that show came out, started like 20. Yeah, that show started in like 1999.
It was 8 seasons, and it went off in 2008, I think it was.
Yeah, Alexa,
9 seasons.
what year did Will and Grace start?
Will and Grace premiered on September 21st, 1998.
Yeah, so it started in 1998. So that is 25 years ago. So who were we 25 years ago?
But listen, let me just say this. Even when I go back and look at the episodes, baby, listen, I don't care some of the fashions that was going on because Miss Grace was.
I still remember how gagged I was when she came out in her wedding dress. And it wasn't the dress, it was that white floor-length ball coat that she had on. And I was like,
that's all I got. I remember those damn Poochie print boots that she had on. I remember, like, it's just so many things. Again, reasons why I'm just the gayest man I'm the gayest man in America. But because listen, I was all in on it. I understood everything that Will was talking about when he said, "Oh my God, I'll double my closet size because we wear the same size shoes, and I got the Gucci loafers." I remember feeling that way when I was dating someone at the time, and I was like, "Oh, so we were almost the same size shoes." What?
You know, there's a word that they used on that show that I still use to this day,
which is
spramped.
Baby,
you know, I said that to somebody, and they knew exactly what I was saying. I said, you know what? I'm a little tired. I said, you know what? I just need a little spramp. And they were like, bitch, I know exactly what you need.
Yep. And it's amazing. It's almost like it's getting ready to go into the dictionary because listen, they can put
conversate. It was definitely in a gay dictionary.
But if they can put conversate in motherfucking Webster's, then Sprant is on its way.
Every time I see that word, it
just drives me up the
my soul, to my motherfucking soul when I see someone say conversate.
I remember in high school, listen, to this day, and we are grown men and women, and I understand that, but baby, I would say her full name, Miss Leanna Reed, because she's probably married. I don't know. Baby, she was she was the fly girl in the class, and she was always looked a little bit older, and she would always pull the grown men and all that type of shit. Listen, Leanna was like, she was fine. She was like that hood fine girl with all the, with the Calvins and the big old earrings, and she was that girl. But maybe she opened her mouth, she was like, because we was out there conversating, and we was going to conversate. I was like,
girl. Please. Look, I feel like, who was that? Juju, he was like, just say talk.
It drives me up, and I that's the first time I heard it, and I tried to correct somebody, and then I realized, you know what?
Right.
Let me just leave that person. Let me let them be. And listen, she's a grown woman. She done went on, and she's doing great things, and I get it. But at that time, the person that I was at that point, I was like, girl, this is getting on my nerves. Now it still gets on my nerves. But I feel like, if I'm gonna choose to call you a friend, I might laugh and joke about it, but I'm gonna let you go with it because that's what you're
right. The word, Dylan, was spramp. SPRAMP. Spramp.
Right.
As it comes from, the episode where they were playing
come on for irregardless
Scrabble, and they Jack made up a word, spramp, and he said, I just I needed to spramp a little water on my face or something like that.
Right.
He was like, yes, we know exactly what that means.
That's another one to show irregardless. Now let me just be clear.
Now that's not a real word.
Let's be clear. Now I know several people that use that and use it on a regular. And so you get to a point where you're kind of like, normally you hear it, you're like, ugh. But now I'm kind of like, all right, okay, I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
but it really is not a word.
So there are two deaths that we want to cover. Harry Belafonte, who was a civil rights legend and entertainer, died in 96. So you'll remember his song, I think it's called the Banana Song?
Yes.
Dale, Hey-oh. Yeah, that song.
Daylight come and we
And we
walk.
want to go home.
Yeah,
And
for
it
those who don't remember,
also in 1985, he and his manager, Ken Cragen, directed the USA for Africa project, which spawned the single We Are the World. He was a key organizer of the 1963 March on Washington. He's a Kennedy Center Honors nominee. He has the Nelson Mandela Courage Award, the National Medal of Arts from President Clinton, the NAACP's Spingarn Award, and the Chevalier of the Legion of Honor by decree of the President of the Republic of France. And in 2022, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and awarded the Early Influence Award. He's survived by his wife, Pamela, 4 children, 2 stepchildren, and 8 grandchildren.
yes, Sherry Belafonte Harper. I remember her.
Yes. And we also lost someone that the kids might know too. Actor and director Maurice Jamal died on April the 18th. You will remember him from the movie Dirty Laundry. That was with Rockmond Dunbar and Jennifer Lewis, as well as the movie Ski Trip, which is still a hilarious movie. Both of those movies, that and Dirty Laundry, are so hilarious to me.
Baby, listen, they're good. I enjoyed them. But baby, what's the other one where Jennifer Lewis falls back at the funeral?
That's Dirty Laundry.
That's Dirty Laundry. And but there's another one that she's in too. Well, I like the We Are the Slocums.
Yes. That's that movie, that Tyler Perry movie though.
Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
That's not Tyler Perry, but it's Kingdom.
Okay, no. Kingdom Come, yes. I'm thinking of the Tyler Perry movie, but yes. And the last story that I did not know anything about this. Y'all remember Pras from the Fugees?
Mm-hmm.
He was found guilty in a political conspiracy. He was accused in a multi-million-dollar political conspiracy scheme spanning 2 presidencies, and he was convicted Wednesday in a trial that included testimony from Leonardo DiCaprio and former U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions. He was accused of funneling money from a now fugitive Malaysian financier through straw donors to Barack Obama's 2012 re-election campaign, then trying to squelch a Department of Justice investigation and influence an extradition case on behalf of China under the Trump administration. The defense argued the Grammy-winning rapper simply wanted to make money and got bad legal advice as he reinvented himself in the world of politics. A lot going on. So here's the thing, kids.
Oh, wait a minute. How long did he get convicted for?
Let's see. It doesn't say.
I'm sorry. I didn't say. I should say how long was he sentenced? I'm sorry.
It doesn't say.
Okay.
So he said he wanted Lowe. He said Lowe, who was his now fugitive financier, wanted a picture with Obama in 2012 and was willing to pay millions of dollars to get it. Michelle agreed to help and used some of the money he got to pay for friends to attend fundraising event. No one had ever told him that was illegal. And after the election of Donald Trump, prosecutors say Michelle again took millions to halt an investigation into allegations Lowe masterminded a money laundering and bribery scheme that pilfered billions from the Malaysian state investment fund. Lowe is now an international fugitive and maintains his innocence. Michelle also got paid to try and persuade the U.S. to extradite back to China a government critic suspected of crimes there without registering as a foreign agent. I'm like, baby, your lawyer, whatever lawyers you got, see, this is what happened.
You better pay them well, because it sounds like your ass could be in jail for a minute.
And you know, just because you get bad legal advice, the whatever actions you took are still on you.
Yeah,
so
it's not like your ass could be somewhere over in that damn jail cell, like my man was on Midnight Express. Mm-hmm. You wind up in a Turkish prison somewhere. That's what's going to happen to your ass.
Yeah. So you know, I just don't understand how you thought it was going to be legal. I mean, Barack Obama gets photos all the time. So if someone is paying you millions of dollars to get a photo that other people can get for free, that should tell you something that is not on the up and up. And baby, don't be high. I mean, with some things, you could hire your cousin TT. If you need your cousin TT to clean your house, that's fine. But your cousin TT can't be your lawyer.
Baby, listen.
You know, your cousin TT can't do your books. You know, this is why certain things you got to maintain some distance from them. So no. So anyway, so I mean, I guess I feel bad for him, but I also feel like that is his defense, because you got to come up with a defense, and he just thought that he wasn't going to get caught. But you should have known that you were black.
Listen, and it's going to be worse.
Right. So anyway, so what stories you got for us after we've had all of that?
So in that same vein, and I could have mentioned it earlier when we talked about people that passed on, Barry Humphries, who's an Australian comedian, he's best known for his alter ego, Dave Edna. He died. He was 89. The Australian comedian was best known for, again, his character, Dame Edna Everidge, and was 89 when he died. The entertainer had been readmitted to the hospital last Wednesday for complications following a hip surgery last month. And Sydney actually, I'm sorry, I keep saying Sydney. Barry actually was survived by his wife, Lizzie, and 4 children. But that was the part I wanted to put out there first, because in my mind, I just knew Dame Edna was gay. And so I'm just going to throw that out there.
I mean, I knew that he wasn't trans, but I just thought he was a homosexual.
No, I mean,
drag is like a cute little act.
Yeah, I just say he was a homosexual. But anyway,
yeah.
Throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s, he landed a series of TV talk shows, specials, and films as Dame Edna, and his other alter egos, Les Patterson and Sandy Stone. Among them, the Dame Edna Experience in 1987 was another show that he did. His career expanded more than 60 years, and he has been awarded several honors. In 2000, he won a special Tony Award for his Broadway show, Dame Edna, The Royal Tour. Now, his career hasn't been without controversy. In 2019, the Melbourne International Comedy Festival dropped their prestigious Barry Award, named after the comedian, following his controversial comments Humphries made to The Spectator the year before regarding transgender people, according to the CNN affiliate 7 News. In an interview with the paper, Humphries drew fire for describing being transgender as a fashion. Later, he denied being transphobic and said the comments were taken out of context. So, but other than that, the Dame, you will always, at least I'll always remember, because he always looked as crazy as he sounded, and that was an entertaining thing for me.
Yes.
Next, we have Candace Owens is back in the news. So her, the Black conservative media personality Candace Owens is claiming that an interior design turned down her husband's request with a biting response that would have caused national outrage had she and her husband been liberals and were rejected in the manner by a white conservative designer. In the latest issue of Vanity Fair, she speaks candidly about her childhood in growing up in Connecticut, her upbringing, the time she was beaten up and bullied by white girls on her cheerleading squad, the moment she became conservative, and her contempt for the Black Lives Matter movement. At the end of the piece, one of the correspondents asked her if she was well received in her Nashville community, and she said that, where she lives, people know who she is, and some speak and some don't. She said there are, some exceptions to that rule, but she said she had a pleasant encounter with the Vice President Kamala Harris, who was on the campaign trail at the time, and she actually literally sat there and told her that she wasn't going to vote for her. And Kamala's response was very much like, okay, I understand. Thank you. But this one specific incident that she talked about was the incident with her husband and the designer, David Neto, who basically said he would rather have violence inflicted upon him than work in her household. Now, someone reached out to Neto after the couple saw his work, or actually her husband, David Farmer, reached out to Neto after they saw his work in a friend's home in Nashville. Owen said her husband filled out the contact form on his website and wrote the most polite email, because he's always polite. He's very English. She said, Neto responded and said, "Dear George, thank you for your inquiry. I'd rather get beat in the ass with a wooden plank than ever go near either of you. Kind regards, David." So Owens told Vanity Fair that she was floored by his response. And she said if a white conservative male had written that email to an outspoken black liberal, he would have lost everything. They would have said it was like Jim Crow. And when he was reached out to for comment, Neto pointed out that he was specifically addressing Farmer, a white man like himself, and said, it's not a race thing. It's a terrorism / amorality thing. Listen, I can't make this stuff up. But
it is so funny to me that people, conservatives want to act like they are the wounded party. First of all, when you was on that plane with Kamala Harris did not ask you, hey, are you going to vote for me? You offered that negativity to Kamala unprovoked. Kamala, being a class act, didn't respond, because I bet you if it had been Donald Trump on the plane and my black ass had gotten on there and said I wasn't going to vote for him, I probably would have been the subject of the fucking next rally. It would have been people, putting crosses and shit on my yard. So, and Candace Owens says the most negative things about other black people. Candace Owens is going to, what did Paul Mooney say? Is going to have her nigger come up in time. Something incredible is going to happen to her, and she's going to think, because of her proximity to whiteness, that is going to overcome her blackness. And it is absolutely not. And she is going to be like, see, I'm black just like you. I was beaten up by white people in school, but yet you haven't learned that we need to stick together. And that doesn't mean we got to believe everything, because I do believe that, some liberal policies or whatever, but liberal policies are usually about extending people's freedom. Conservative policies are usually about taking people's freedoms away.
Yep.
And her husband is not just some, random, you're trying to make it sound like, he's some English country gentleman. He's the founder of Parler, which is a website that exists to spew hate. I'm going to go out a limb and say that a white Southern interior designer is probably a homosexual. So they're not trying to have nothing to do with him. So I think David was within his rights to be like, hell no, I'm not going to take my efforts, because any money that you pay me is blood money.
Listen.
Every time a a gay person gets beat up in the club, y'all asses are, you're trying to ban drag, you're trying to ban trans people. So, girl, hell no, I don't want to do no work for y'all. So fuck you.
And I'm sure David is not hurting at all for any of this money. So don't take your coin and go somewhere else. Now, he didn't say what he said. Now keep it moving.
Right. So. And just like y'all think it's okay to have an opinion, and y'all think it's okay for
or to not bake a cake for a wedding,
to not bake a cake for a gay couple, then this dude, and not only just to not bake a cake, but to say, not only am I not going to bake a cake, but your life is sin. You're a homosexual. You're going to go to hell, and say all of that. So if you support that, then this dude should be able to say whatever the fuck he wants too.
And when you own the motherfucking company, you are the motherfucking company. You do what the fuck you want to do. And that's
exactly.
So listen, I'm here for it.
So fuck her husband, and fuck all she stands for.
So listen, Don Lemon says he was
fucked up ass edges.
Sorry. Don Lemon says he was fired from CNN. So Don Lemon was terminated from his anchor role in CNN. He announced it on Monday. The news comes after Variety published a story this month about allegations that he mistreated his female colleagues over his career, and his career specifically there. And earlier this year, he faced backlash over widely criticized comments he made on air. Lemon announced on the news on Twitter saying he was informed by his agent that he was being terminated. He says, I'm stunned. He wrote this. After 17 years at CNN, I would have thought someone in management would have had the decency to tell me directly. And in a tweet, CNN refuted Lemon's account as inaccurate. The network said he was offered a chance to meet with management, but instead released a statement on Twitter. CNN Chris Licht said that the network and Lemon have, quote unquote, parted ways. according to a memo provided to NBC News on Monday. They said that Don will forever be a part of the CNN family, and we thank him for his contributions over the past 17 years. We wish him well, and we will be cheering him on in his future endeavors. Basically, what they said was, bye, bitch. Go with
Don. Don's going to be all right, but you know what he has done? He has hired. It's interesting because you know what else happened this week?
Listen, Tucker Carlson, Jesus Christ, I can't think of his name.
Tucker Carlson
got fired as well from Fox News, and they both hired the same
attorney. And I think that, listen, I don't give a fuck about Tucker Carlson.
I don't at all.
Not at all. But if you look at what happened, they're trying to make Tucker Carlson the scapegoat for this. Is he the scapegoat? He's probably the most visible face, but there's lots of other motherfuckers on that channel that
every fucking news anchor on that fucking channel, just about.
Not only that, but I mean, shit don't get on the air without producers and other people signing off on it. So if Tucker's head is going to roll, then a lot of other heads should roll too.
But so, just like I know that if they do go after him and they make him the scapegoat, then guess what? Tucker's family is going to be well off. Not that they're poor anyway.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson is his stepmother is the Swanson frozen food person.
Listen, so we already know this is a trade-off. There's a trade-off for something down the line politically or financially or something long-term politically or financially for that family.
Tucker is the kind of douchebag who goes around he used to brag about, because I saw something on the Daily Show about he used to brag early on in his career, and not even early on, just like recently. He's like, I don't need to work. I'm filthy rich. These are his quotes. So, he ain't sitting at home like, oh my God, where's my next meal going to come from? So he's going to be all right. Oh, exactly. Ooh. Come on, bougie girl. Fuck Candace and her dark and lovely, super no lie relaxer blowout ass.
No, but you got to put some stank on it.
Girl, fuck Candace and her dark and lovely, super no lie relaxer blowout ass. With your funky ass. I didn't used to like Don Lemon, Blue, but then he sort of redeemed himself because it felt like he was like, girl, you are like, I feel like somebody sat him down and was like, bitch, I know you think that you are white because you are light skinned or lighter skinned from New Orleans, but you are still black and you are still gay.
Nigga.
So you need to gather yourself because this industry is not going to look out for you. And I feel like he has sort of gotten back on the right track, but then I still think he was being influenced by a lot of these white gays, and a lot of them white gays be saying crazy stuff about women behind their back.
That's true. But the thing that got me was, which I loved, because I know it could happen to anybody, but I forget who they were interviewing, but baby, Don Lemon could not keep a fucking...
The episode when they had the little conservative queen on, and they talked about going to the fucking Cheesecake Factory, and then dude was like, I just want to know why the dude was going to the Cheesecake Factory, and fucking Angela Rye lost her shit, and every time I see that video, I lose my shit.
It is fucking hilarious, and I think that's when I started looking at him and realizing, okay, not that I never saw him as not being human, but I was kind of like, all right, he's a little bit more relatable now. That was just hilarious to me. It was a different side I saw of him, and I just thought it was absolutely hilarious.
Right. Hold on. I'm trying to find the video real quick.
Okay. Anyway, Mitchell, baby boy, is that you? I don't know. I'm seeing some of these names. I don't know some of these other screen names that are on here. I used to call Don the village idiot when he first started working there, and the way he did some of his live shots, he semi-redeemed himself, but every now and then, what, Nichelle. And Nichelle, I'm so sorry, darling. You you reached out to me, and baby, I was just, listen, it was the week of the...
All right, about to get you.
Preparing for the colonoscopy and the endoscopy, so I was just a little out of it. I was a little mad.
All right, so hold on. because it's still hilarious. Even though we've all seen it, it's still hilarious.
Man, don't forget to put it on the screen.
I will.
Yeah.
Do the same. When a young African American walks in a Cheesecake Factory with a Make America Great Again hat, he shouldn't be verbally accosted. You should maybe inquire as to why he's wearing it if you want to hear his point of view, but he should by no means feel that he's not welcome in a restaurant.
Okay.
This is the problem that we have as Americans, and we can all do better.
Mark, I know you want to respond to that. What do you want to say?
Nah, I was wondering what I do was in Cheesecake Factory, but I think for me, you know, most you know, that has y'all tripping, man.
Okay.
This is the problem that we have as Americans, and we can all do better.
Mark, I know you want to.
No, wait a minute.
Have to do.
Here's how you know what's going
on. I think it's up to us as citizens to do the same. When a young African American walks in a Cheesecake Factory with a Make America Great Again hat, he shouldn't be verbally accosted. You should maybe inquire.
Right there.
Yeah,
right
there.
there.
You saw the zip curl. It was like the Grinch in slow motion. It was like.
Okay.
This is the problem that we have as Americans, and we can all do better.
Mark, I know you want to respond to that. What do you want to say?
Nah, I was wondering what I do was in Cheesecake Factory, but I think for me, you know, most you know, that has y'all tripping, man.
Yeah, no,
focus. The point is that most Black people who are dealing with,
and the worst part about it is this coon is so deep into whatever and so out of touch with his Blackness and whatever, he did not even realize that they were clowning his ass. He was probably like, what are you guys laughing at?
Yeah, like Cheesecake Factory is very responsible. It's a very respectable restaurant. It's actually not quite nice. Girl, she all right? Is she okay?
I mean, right. When a young African American goes into a Cheesecake Factory, or he shouldn't be accosted for wearing a Make America Great hat, I'm like,
he ain't getting accosted because he's walking in the Cheesecake Factory with a Make America Great Again hat on. He's getting accosted because he has a Make America Great Again hat on.
You be right, because y'all are acting like y'all are wearing a trucker hat. I mean, whenever I see that hat, I am making all kinds of assumptions about who you are as a person.
Listen,
I'm going to assume that you are racist.
Yep.
That you are homophobic.
Yep.
That you are transphobic. That you are xenophobic. That you are anti-woman. Yep. And I'm at least 3 of those. Well,
listen, all I know is when I literally saw at the old job, they had a couple tours down at the good old Vie de France, and they would come and do the little tour groups, whatever. And it was a bunch of high school kids, and they all had their Make America Great Again hats on. And I had to walk past them to get to the elevator, and I was just like, and I kept saying to myself, they're teenagers.
Don't say nothing.
They're teenagers.
Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. But if one of these motherfuckers even look at me wrong, I'm about to beat up a 16-year-old today.
And the thing that was getting me was, you know how as kids, they'd be zigzagging through crowds and shit and trying to cut you off and all that type of shit. And I was just kind of like, I was walking, and it was at the end of the day. I was tired. All I wanted to do was get to this elevator, go down to my car, get in the car, bitch, and use. And I was just kind of like,
right. Tyra said, I fight children.
Listen, I fight children. I'm not even going to deny that. It's their parents sometimes. That's the ones I got to be worried about, because I got to worry about where these bitches is coming from. At least with they dumbass kids coming and jumping in my face, I can see them coming. It's them parents that I can't see them. I can't hit them with a bat. I need to know which direction they're coming from. That's when I can hit them with a bat. But I'll fight them too. But again, I'm at that age where I sit back and say, let me just check myself first, because I know I become easily irritated with things.
This is why I am so glad that God invented earbuds.
Well, listen.
Earbuds have kept me out of a world of trouble. Like on the plane, the plane flight, when the grown-ass man was mad because his baby was crying. I was like, that is an infant.
It is an infant. Now, but let me be clear. Let me be clear. We have all been on flights with kids that have cried, and on the inside, I know for me, I am screaming, and I'm like, why is that baby on the plane? why can't you keep that baby quiet? What, like, why is the baby on the ground? Like, that's the first thing. Like, and on the inside, I'm screaming that, and I really want them to just be the fuck quiet. And I try, but my whole flight is fucked up because I now gotta listen to this shit, and I have to force myself to be quiet and to try to focus and to try to, because I can't ignore it, but I have to just focus on something else.
For me, I'm irritated that the baby is crying, but I'm not mad because who are you angry at? You can't be angry at the child because the child don't have any other way to communicate. And you can't be but so mad at the parent because the parent is probably frazzled and frustrated. My problem is parents who can't keep their kids from kicking the back of the fucking seat or let their kids run up and down the aisle on the plane or let them run up and down in the waiting area. Them kids need to have their ass sat in a fucking seat. And then they're like, well, how are they supposed to be entertained? Bitch, the same way that my ass was entertained by when because my mother was afraid to fly, so we had to take the fucking train from Washington, D.C. to Montgomery, Alabama. You had a book or a coloring book,
right?
Or look out the window and shut the fuck up,
right?
Or later on a Walkman or whatever.
Get them together, and but I get it, and I think I'm more so mad at the parents, and I'm not mad at the babies, but it's like, God, it's like, can't you listen? Listen. Maybe there's a reason why I don't have children, biological children, I should say. But and listen, I love the nieces and nephews, and I love them to death, and baby, they are fun. But listen, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person that somebody says something to. Because I'm out with my, I don't want to be that person. Because I don't know.
I've never, the only time I said something when we were on this trip to Vegas, when this kid kept kicking the back of my seat. And I'm like, first of all, the mother was sitting right next to the child. I was like, and I wanted to say to her, don't you see your fucking child keep kicking the back of the seat? The fuck? And Michelle says, can't be mad at the babies. I'm mad at ninjas that snore like bears in hibernation. All of that is why whenever I get on a plane, the first thing I pack is the little bag that I'm going to have right there with me. And the first thing I have in there is my earphones. And I make sure that they are fully charged. And depending on the length of the flight, my charging brick in case them girls got to be because it's got a case, so even I can always recharge the case. And I actually have a backup pair of earbuds that I carry with me now. And on the rare occasions where I've forgotten the earbuds, guess where I'm at in the motherfucking airport? The little tech store to buy me a new set of earbuds.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Listen, I
$100. Shit, here go your motherfucking $100. But you best believe I will return them bitches. I'd be like, what's the return policy?
Girl. Okay.
Listen, if I'll use them bitches in flight on the departing flight and the return flight, I'll stop at that tech store on the way back and be like, yeah, these didn't work with my phone. They're covered in earwax, I said.
They didn't work. No. I tried. I left in my ear when I was on the plane. I fell asleep, but they didn't work with my phone. That's all I got. Now, can I get my money back, please?
And the one reason I didn't fight the kid for kicking my seats, because I dropped one of the earbuds, and the little kid reached under the seat because my fat ass couldn't get under there to pick it up. So he picked it up. He's like, here you go, sir. And I'm like, So then I felt like I couldn't complain about him kicking the seat for the rest of the flight. So I just sort of endured it.
Okay. Well, good for you. Good for you. Listen.
Right, well, let's get into this footage.
Roll this beautiful bean footage.
right. This has been a fun evening as always, you know, even if I'm feeling down or whatever, you know, I always know this will be my good little therapy session.
Listen, y'all don't know because my ass is I'm aggravated and I'm good, but thank God for that little brownie. So because it was almost a done deal for me tonight. I was ready to get down. So yes, I will agree with you. I concur, and I've said that several weeks that we're on the air. Sometimes this is therapy, this is cathartic, and it's everything. So today was definitely good.
Yes.
So thank y'all for putting up with I'm not just us, but me specifically at this particular point, because I'm a little buzzed. And I'm going to finish this buzz off because it's still early because I'm getting ready to go to sleep. That's what I'm ready to do.
Yes, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And share it with all of y'all friends. Get them to subscribe too.
Yes. Even these other names, go ahead and subscribe to them. Mitchell, Dallin,
yes.
Some of these other names, Des,
And with that, I think we will say thank y'all for coming out. God bless you, and
good.